The fastest way to play better golf is to develop a good pre-shot routine. As Dr. Bob Rotella said, your routine is your wingman on the golf course. So if you want to take your game to the next level, if you want to get into tournament golf and just want to play better under pressure, you need a routine. And today I want to go through my scratch golfer routine to give you some ideas on what you should be doing and what you should not be doing in your routine. Because here's the thing, whether you're Justin Thomas, Tiger Woods, all the great players have routines. Now, there's no one specific routine that's going to yield the best results. It really depends on who you are and what type of golfer. But I want to take you through my routine, give you some ideas about target selection, about how long it should take, waggles, and everything else I do to set you up for success. So the first part of a good routine is actually analyzing the shot itself. So one of the biggest mistakes I see with most golfers is that they just use their rangefinder, hit the target, and then they go on and they don't really think about the shot. So you don't want to just hit your target, say it's 150 out, and be like, yeah, I need to hit it 150 yards. You have to account for wind, what the lie is going to do, where you actually want the ball to land. Because again, most people aren't just going to hit and stop, especially if you're playing on firm, fast conditions. So you need to do some more analyzing before. So my pre-shot routine starts the moment that I actually get up to the golf ball. Yes, I will use a rangefinder and actually figure out the distance, but there's so many more things that I will be thinking about. So let's say for this shot, let's say this shot is 160 yards. My 9-iron goes about 150 to 155, and let's say there's trouble long. This is going to be a solid 9-iron for me, and that's really one of the first things is analyzing the lie. Obviously, we're inside of the simulator right now, but if you're in the fairway, you can pretty much account for your normal distance. But when you're in the rough, that's when things change. Because if your ball's sitting down in the rough, it might kind of knuckle when it comes out of there. If it's sitting up, you might get a fly or lie. So you need to be thinking about these things first and foremost. Second, once you get that clear and you pick the club for the actual shot based on the carry distance you need, then it's time to take some rehearsal swings. Now, I don't have a ton of room right here, but basically, you always want to be taking your rehearsal swings behind the golf ball. Most everyday golfers, though, are doing their routines right here, and then they look, and then they get up and hit. But this is going to cause some issues for a few reasons. One, what if you take a huge divot right there, and now all of a sudden you're supposed to scoot up and then look? I mean, it's ugly. Nobody wants to see a divot right there. It's not going to instill a lot of confidence. So when you're behind the golf ball, if you do unfortunately take a divot, you're going to be okay. But the real benefit of taking your practice swings behind the golf ball is that you have a clear separation between a thinking area and a scoring area. Different authors have talked about this in having different boxes as well. So this is like a think box, this is a play box. This is discussed a few different ways, but really what I like to think about it is back here is more your conscious mind. This is where you're really using your analytical thinking to figure out the distance, what kind of shot you want to play, your trajectory, where you want the ball to go, where you don't want the ball to go. And then when you're up here, you're just thinking about your target, you're just thinking about everything you thought about back here, and you're simply going through your routine, and you're not spending too long over the golf ball. One of the biggest mistakes most golfers make is getting here, and they haven't really committed to anything back here, so then they're like, okay, well, is this the right target? Is this the right distance? Where's my alignment? Where's my intermediary target? And there's too much thinking going on. We don't want to be thinking right here. To play your best golf, you need to go unconscious. You need to get in the zone, the performance zone that we all are looking for. And one of the easiest ways to do that is make sure all of your thinking is back here, like right here. Take a breath, walk into the shot. We're only thinking about our intermediary target, our long range target, and then go. But most golfers, once again, don't spend any time back here. So then when you get up here, there's too much thinking. And when we're thinking, we're never going to play our best golf. So you want to think all the stuff back here so that way you can just simply react to it here. So for example, once I decide, okay, this is a perfect 9-iron for me, I know what I need to do, here's my target, then you want to pick that intermediary target. So this is something that pretty much every golfer talks about, having some sort of target within, a foot or 2 feet ahead of your ball. So that way you can line the club face up to that instead of trying to line the club face up to a target that is hundreds of yards away. So once you get clear on your club, you get clear on your intermediary target, then we can take some rehearsal swings back here. We want these to be intentional swings. We don't want just these little lazy swing. We want the swing to really represent what we're trying to do. Think about it like 70 to 90% effort. So you're back here, you're taking 70, 90%, one, maybe two practice swings. There's really not much need for more than that. So from here, we should be clear, we should be ready to go, but we wanna have a breath. This is a time to release any tension, to get yourself calm and ready for the shot. And then I walk in, make sure my club is aligned. Let's say my intermediate target's there. Then I build my stance around it. I give it one waggle, go. So the waggle is another important part of a good routine. So a waggle kind of sets up the takeaway. Ben Hogan talks about this a lot in his book, The 5 Fundamentals of Golf. And what he talks about is when you're here and you have your waggle, because it's really hard if you don't have a waggle. You notice there's a lot of that you're just kind of staying still. But when you get in here, we get set up and we kind of are doing a waggle. We are getting rid of tension in our forearms and we're setting up our backswing. So the waggle is, again, keeping your hands loose, it's keeping your arms loose, and it's setting up your takeaway. So some people do this, like Justin Thomas. Some guys do this a lot. Unfortunately, Brian Harmon and others, have 13 waggles. You don't need too many, of course, but I get up here, I go through it, and I do 1, 2, just kind of like that. And then once the club hits the ground, then I'm go time. Now, another thing with target selection, one of the biggest mistakes I made was always thinking aim small, miss small, right? That advice is talked about all the time in golf books, sports psychology books. Aim small, miss small, aim small, miss small. Have that sniper approach. That works for about 75% of the population. But if you're more of an intuitive person like myself, that actually is very limiting with your target. So I learned about this from the mental golf type system. You can click the link down below to learn more, but the mental golf type basically teaches you how to play golf based on your personality. So my personality as an intuitive, I see things more big picture. And so what they recommend in that system is to, instead of picking an aim small, miss small target, have target zones. So instead of just picking like one window on the building, on the Taj back here, you would be picking, 2 different ones and creating some sort of target zone. That kind of frees you up. So that's a really big part of the routine as well. So when I'm back here, I'm figuring out my target zone, and then I'm dialing all the way back to then picking my intermediary target. So that way, again, when I walk up here, I can align the club to the intermediary target. Then I can confirm the long range target with my eyes here, but we should be good to go and can just execute. Oh, that was hit well. But the routine is just setting you up for success, because let's say you're nervous, you're playing great, maybe you're on the last hole, you want to finish strong, you want to win the tournament, whatever you're doing. There's a lot of doubt, there's a lot of fear, there's some negative thoughts that are going to come in, but if you have a good routine, you're not going to have time for any of that, because you're going to be like, all right, I'm thinking about my target, I'm taking my breath, I'm going through my targets, and I'm not standing over the golf ball too long. If you really think about it, most bad shots happen when we're over here and we're thinking, don't hit in the water, don't screw this up, don't 3-putt, like all these negative things we think about. And when you stand over the golf ball too long, you're gonna let too many negative thoughts get in, and that's of course when you're gonna play your worst golf. Studies have found that you're gonna play your best if you spend 8 seconds or less from the time you're in your stance to actually swinging and follow through. So let's just time mine just to show you what it looks like. So we got my intermediate target confirming. So now we're in my stance. I look up, quick waggle, drop it, go. I'm not hesitating. I'm not standing over the golf ball doing this. 1 look, 2 look, 3 look, 4 look. It's exhausting. It's going to slow down pace of play. Your playing partners are going to be annoyed. We're not on the PGA Tour, and even those guys take too long, as I think a lot of players would agree with. In fact, a European Tour study found that 1 to 2 looks is plenty at the target. So once again, I'm here, confirming it, 1 look, building my stance, doing a waggle, looking again, go. Now look, there's a lot of ways you can do your routine. There's a lot of different parts of it, as we talked about, but I encourage you to create your pre-shot routine. It's gonna help you perform better under pressure. You're gonna have more confidence. It's gonna get rid of some of the doubt, the fear, the indecision that we have. But remember, it starts back here. You gotta be thinking analytically, so then we can let the subconscious take over right here. We wanna be thinking about Club selection, wind, elevation, the lie, all that stuff back here. Take our breath, walk past this line, get our target, and go. Simplify your routine, speed up your routine. It will change your game.